Hey everybody, welcome to Top 10 Gaming. Today we're coming at you with another series of gaming creepypastas. This time around, all about Kingdom Hearts. Now some of these are freaky, others are straight up creepy, and some just really darn sad takes on what the true story behind Kingdom Hearts is. So with that in mind, let's get to it. Starting us off, we've got NBC Data Rampant. Let's start off our list with a tale about a boy whose father used to work at Square Enix as a storyboard artist. Now, when his older brother was old enough, his dad got him a job as a night shift janitor, and he would join his older brother on some nights, just to hang out. Our protagonist used to love it. He would sometimes catch a glimpse of designers working on upcoming games, and he got to play with the PS2 that they had in the office, testing new games out. Now, on one occasion when he accompanied his brother, he went to go see if his father's friend, a designer named Josh, was there working late, as he usually did. Now, the door was locked and required a password for the electronic keypad that kept it safely shut. So, giving up, he decided to go play with the PS2 instead. Now, midway through his game, the power in the building went out. A little freaked, our author went to go find his brother, calling out to him in the dark offices. That's when he realized that because the power was out, Josh's office was likely unlocked. Knowing that Josh was working on the new Kingdom Hearts game, our author got excited and decided to sneak into his office now that the door was open. Once inside, he went over to Josh's computer, and there on his desk was a copy of Kingdom Hearts 2. The game hadn't been released yet. His stomach did a flip. This was so cool. That's when the power flicked back on. Quickly, the author grabbed the game and headed back over to the PS2, deciding to pop in the disc. Now, when he opened up the case though, the disc inside didn't have any artwork on it. Instead, there was a strange sequence of numbers written on it in marker. Being that this was just clearly a dev copy, the author popped it into the PS2 anyway. A bunch of code then appeared on the screen, and then an option read, New Game. He selected it. The game worked fine, up until the part where you first go to the abandoned mansion. The game just then froze. Off that it was frozen, our author went to eject the disc. That's when an error message popped up that read, Broken. Immediately after, another error message popped up that read, Corrupt. He turned off the system and rebooted it. The game returned back to normal, picking up where he left off. He sighed in relief and continued to play. Midway through though, it glitched again, and next thing he knew, he was standing at the bus station. He walked around and noticed that the game felt really empty and unpopulated. Now, figuring this was an early demo, he just kept exploring. He started noticing creepy posters everywhere, but he just ignored it and headed for the forest. Now, all of a sudden, the screen went black and text appeared. It read, No. He tried opening the options menu, but the text didn't go away. So he tried turning the game on and off again, but it kept bringing him back to the same screen in the same text, No. Eventually, after rebooting a game, the game resumed. Except, things were different now. As you walked through the game, he spotted familiar characters, Donald and Goofy. Except something was severely wrong. Goofy was crucified to a wall, his eyes missing, his torso cut open. Donald was mangled. His brain had been pulled out from his skull, his insides were tied around his neck, his body swinging in the air. That's when our author heard it, a whisper coming from the game. It said, Is my work beautiful? Does it make you proud? Scared shitless, he tried to turn off the PS2. It wouldn't turn off. The game took control of Sora and he started to run, looking panicked. An electronic voice boomed out of the television. Subject Alpha 2956EM testing has officially succumbed to rampancy. A2956EMT's emotional matrix has malfunctioned. Game data is abandoned. Further development has been ceased, effective immediately. Do not use this data. Use of this data is subject to… Then the electronic voice distorted into sounds of radio static with changing pitches. It blared from the TV, causing our author to cover his ears as it screeched. He looked up at the screen in time to see Sora's body jerk uncontrollably, pouring blood from his head. A text box appeared that read, Continue? And that's when he heard the whisper again, this time saying, Was it beautiful? Are you proud? Can I be free, Josh? The author panicked and smashed the PlayStation to bits. The disc fell out and he cracked it in half. Up next, we've got his creepypasta called Cathedral Glitch. This one tells the story of an alternate version of events within the first Kingdom Hearts title, a strange and haunting glitch. At the beginning of the game, you may recall that Sora is in a limbo-like shadow area, standing on cathedral-like objects made of stained glass. Now, if you were to be defeated by the Heartless, you would start over from the beginning of the fight, typically. But if you were defeated on the top of the Snow White Cathedral and died precisely in the center of the apple that she's holding in the process, you won't respawn right before the battle. Instead, this creepypasta states that Sora would spawn in a different cathedral, where the music is gone, replaced by an odd static hum with a single violin scratching away at the game's main theme. If you stay there long, the music gets louder. You can't mute it. You can't turn it down. It just gets louder and louder and louder. The stained glass floor no longer contains the image of Snow eating an apple. Instead, you now see her corpse holding the apple, blood leaking from her eye sockets, her nose, her mouth, all while the evil queen stands nearby laughing in triumph, a bloody heart in her hand. From there, as you progress, you'll notice other cathedrals contain similar scenes of princesses and their morbid ends. Cinderella is sold into slavery by her stepsisters. Belle watches in horror as the beast devours her father. These cathedrals depict the dark, often gruesome potential endings to these stories. And the heartless you face? They are also different. No longer are they cute shadows of sorts. They have yellow eyes with red irises. They are taller than Sora, slender with claws, moving insanely fast, capable of killing anyone who isn't an experienced player of the game. They blend easily into the background, making it difficult to see them. Most who stumble upon this glitch simply reset the game, but for those who stuck it out, each cathedral they visit is harder, each more gruesome than the last, each louder in its static noise. Players who try to restart the game after suffering a game over hear whispering in the background but can't quite make out the words. The developers of the game claim this glitch was never intentionally included and that it doesn't actually exist, it's just a fabrication. But according to one designer, a man named Toyotami, who left his job while the game was in its earliest stages of development, reportedly had made calls to the police, saying he saw creatures following him with yellow eyes and red irises. Now the police believed him to be full of it, but he was later found in his apartment, cut up by what appeared to be something with sharp claws. His neighbors had called the police when they heard him screaming about their eyes. Moving on, it's all a dream. This creepypasta shines a dark light on the Kingdom Hearts series. It tells of how Sora, in reality, was a young boy, aged 13, and had died. He wanted to be a hero but failed, and in his dreams he would relive the death of all of his friends. He had made a raft one lovely summer's day with his friends Riku and Kairi as part of a dare, who would sail along the ocean blue and navigate their faithful raft. The best. As they were out having fun, the tide came in and pulled them underwater, tearing apart the raft. His friends drowned. They didn't know how to swim. Sora, holding onto a piece of the raft, watched as his friends suffered. Eventually the tide pushed him into the shore where he hit his head on a nearby reef, suffocating himself beneath the waves. Now he lives constantly in a dream, a purgatory, where he relives his adventure on the raft and his friends dying over and over again. He believes he isn't dead, making up adventures with his friends, now replaced with Disney characters that he grew up with as a child. And finally, the end. This one starts with Sora in battle, close to victory, when he feels something grab him and pull him into darkness. In the darkness he couldn't move, he couldn't breathe, and then he opened his eyes. A bright light blinded him, and he felt as if something was binding him, making his arms wrap around his body. That's when he realized he was actually wearing a straitjacket. He looked around the room to see that he was in a padded room. He started to call out and got to his feet but felt very weak. He stumbled and pushed his way through the door only to find himself in a deserted hallway. The lights above him were flickering. It looked like a hospital. He walked down the eerie hallway, peeking into room after room, and found himself at one point staring back into a mirror. He was disheveled. He looked older. His hair was a mess and the whites of his eyes were now astutely pink and bloodshot. What happened to me? He pondered aloud. He kept working his way down the hall where he felt something sticky on his bare feet below on the floor. Looking down, it took him a moment to distinguish what the dark pool of liquid was that he was standing in. It was blood. He started to panic. Where was everyone? Where was Donald and Goofy? He finally found himself standing in front of a large door. From behind it, he could hear voices. One seemed familiar. Was it King Mickey? It must be. He pushed into the door, but it was heavy, and cracked open just the slightest bit. Sora began to cry out Mickey's name, but before he could react, someone on the other side of the door swung it open and a bag was thrown over his head. His next moments were hectic. He felt himself thrown into a vehicle of sorts. He felt the rumbling of the vehicle as it drove off, and then shortly after, it stopped. He was then pulled from it and hauled onto a stretcher. Someone was tying him down, putting him upright. The bag was then removed from his head, and there in front of him in a dark room stood a man, his back turned to him, speaking to someone else that he couldn't see. It was Mickey's voice. "Your Majesty," he called out. The man turned around. Sora immediately demanded answers. That's when the man told him that it was all a story. "But what about Riku? What about Kairi? Where's my Keyblade? What happened? It's not real, Sora," he said. "It's all just a story you made up in your head." Sora couldn't believe it. He yelled at him that he was lying, but the man proceeded to tell him how he was a doctor, and that Sora had been admitted when he was only 14 years old, and that none of his friends were ever really real, but he had never been conscious enough for him to tell him that. Alright, there we have it, friends. Which of these creepypastas freaked you out the most? Give us a shout in those comments below and let us know. If you dug this video, spread the love, hit that like button, and be sure to subscribe to Top 10 Gaming for all of your game-themed creepypasta needs. In the meantime though, thanks for watching. I'll catch you all in the next video.